Hello and welcome to another episode of AchromatiCraft. Man, last time we got a pretty cool building up, but it's not just a building, it's our moss farm. It's where we're gonna get all of our bone blocks. Because previously we didn't have a great way of getting those bone blocks. So inside of here, I may have locked myself out. If you didn't remember, we have our Bonemeal farms going in here. I guess they're off right now, but I'm gonna turn them on. Because if we come back out here, I'm just going to block that up for a minute. If we come out here, the hardest thing with achromatic is that the whole world is green and brown for the most part. And so what that means is we have to do a lot of landscaping. So if we jump over here a little bit, you'll notice that I've started doing some of the landscaping around here. Because what we need to turn this green patch into is something that looks like that, where the grass and everything has converted, we'll call it, to this grayscale world. So down here, I've kind of started blocking out where I might want the walls to be, how we want to turn the grass. I think this side, because it's kind of this cyberpunk, let's fly over here, or at least swim over here real quick. I think I want this side to kind of contrast what we have over here, where this is a lot more organic and kind of the farm nature. I want this to almost be more cyberpunky, more future, so I think it's going to be a little more boxy, at least on the edges, because a lot of the buildings are going to probably be that way. So as you can see, I've started putting in some walls here, and I've kind of laid out at least what I want this top portion to be, and now it's time to just get busy. So I'm going to get out kind of our mud. I've prepped some walls here. And really this process isn't going to be too hard because of the way I prep this just right. Really, we're just going to come in with our walls, kind of figure out some random pattern that they may have decayed down into over time. And as you can see, it's pretty quick to get that in. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just pull out a lot of this dirt or this grass, because we need it to be this grayscale. And if we pop over here, let's check. Yep, I think that's going to be pretty good. Now I could have chosen a lighter color to go down here, but really I want the buildings to stand out. So it's okay if this is a little bit darker because it'll act more as a base, and then this will act more as the focal point. Because I don't know that I want people looking at the wall and thinking that's the most interesting portion. So I'm going to go through here. Let's crank this out and at least get the bottom done. And we can see how it's looking. All right, y'all, have you ever done one little thing to your area and thought, holy cow, that changes it? Whoops, don't want to fall in the water. That changes it so much. Yeah, I think we did that. Like, look at just putting the landscape in. I mean, right now we have no details. I just modified all the grass, went through, dug the grass out, put that mud block in, and look at how much it changes that area. And having this wall, let's swim over here. I think it just really starts elevating that structure. When you think about this now as kind of this base that's holding up everything, I think that's perfect. Now I'm going to go through and add, I don't know, some little bushes through here, maybe make it look like, I don't know, we could even use, now that I'm thinking about it, some of these dead corals that we've kind of leveraged out here. And if you're new to this series, no guys, I don't want you right now. But as you can see, we use dead coral for our trees and for the plants and kind of the grass. So we'll probably do that same thing. And I don't know if that I want to interact with them. Uh-oh, they're in the trees too. Oh no. All right, we're out of here. Let's fly for a second. But as you can see, this is really starting to kind of elevate this area, clean it up for us. And so what I'm going to do now, because what we want here on the back is I really want this to feel like this is where kind of the bone meal shipped out. So last time we put kind of these doors, and I intentionally left this kind of blank because I wasn't quite sure, but I think what I want to do is put like 2 semis in here, maybe some trailers waiting to be filled up here, and that when the bone meal's all ready, it just ships out. And this road is a little small. We're not going to worry about that. We're just going to pretend this world is built the way we want it to. But the idea is that the trucks could come. They would be able to leave and go wherever in the city. The trucks are going to be a little bit big, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. So we're going to get this build out, make it look good. but let's at least get the parking lot in and see if we have space. I don't know if I need to go all the way back there or if the trailers are going to fit here. So let's at least get the parking area in, and then we'll see if we can get those trucks in. Okay, and just putting in the last few here, that gets us done. Oh man, how is it looking? Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good as pavement can look. But what I've done here is kind of put our fake grass, kind of a border around. Now the border is going to stick out a little, but I'm actually okay with that because I want this to look at like a place that people have intentionally kind of put this border on so that they know not to drive their trucks on the grass. We'll eventually put some grasses, some little bushes, but I think for a parking lot, this is pretty good. Now, the thing that we need to do, and let's see, oh, we can just grab it here, is get some dirt out. Now, what I like to do here is start trying to figure out what's our story. So I know that over here, I kind of want 2 trucks. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know, maybe come in 2. I have 3 wide truck tutorial on my channel. Why I have a semi tutorial, I don't know, other than I built one on Craftworks. But I think I want one there, so that's 2 away. Let's come over here, 2 away. And that gives us an even on the inside. That's a little bit of a problem because what I want is like a line down the middle. So like the trucks know where to go. Maybe what we'll have to do is actually bring this over and this truck comes over. And so we'll get kind of an even distribution. I think that'll work. Uh-oh, is it getting dark? Oh, it's getting dark, so let me sleep here for a second. But I think what we're going to do is eventually move this over. We'll put that fake grass up against the building, which is probably okay because we could put some trees up. But let me sleep, and then I'll kind of show you what I'm thinking over there. Okay, and with a new morning, so we kind of got that idea. And then if we come over here, maybe there is the same 2 gap there, 1 in the middle, 2 gap. Oh, and we did this side a lot better. That's great. Now, I don't remember how long the trailers are, but if I remember right, they're going to be a decent amount, like maybe stick out to here. And so I don't know that we want this trailer sticking out that far because it would look like it's in front of the truck. So maybe this one is just an empty parking spot. Maybe that's an empty trailer. And as I'm trying to think of a story here, I'm starting to think, do I want both trucks all the way backed in? Probably not. So maybe like this truck is actually like clear out here. Oh, and that's great. You're going to see these ideas are just coming to me. And that's kind of how I roll. But maybe one or both of these doors is up. And maybe there's like a forklift coming out that's going to be putting something on this truck. So yeah, maybe this truck is pulled out a little. It's got the cab here. So we'll put the kind of the height here so that we know that's the height of it. It's got a flatbed and then a forklift. And then this guy is just the regular truck backed in. Maybe he's waiting. Because what I'm really trying to do here is tell a story. So if you're ever trying in a world and you're kind of by yourself, look for those little stories. Like, is it horses that are moving around? Is it trucks in unique places? Like they're not parked perfect, but it's a real working area. And that's really what I'm going to try and go for in this area is put some different depth so that when we kind of look back at it, we'll see that, hey, there's something in the foreground, something in the middle ground, and then the building. If we came back to this other side, we would see that it's layered and it's not just all perfectly lined up. Yep. Okay. Oh, that feels good. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do in this area, but I think just kind of talking that through, and that's a great tip if you ever need to use dirt. I know some of the people on Craftworks like to give me a hard time, but I love thinking in dirt because in survival, I don't like to go to creative and just build something out. I like to come in here and think through things, see what it's going to look like in dirt, and then we move to the actual blocks. So I'm going to go collect those blocks, get ready, and let's get these semis built. Oh man, y'all. Do you know how hard it is to detail in Grayscale? It's pretty hard because really all you have is kind of the contrast. So I tried a few different things, and let's float down here for a bit. I tried making these trailers kind of this dark, deep slate, but then it was blending too much into the road. And so we went with a little bit better I don't know, color here. But that's the hard thing with grayscale is, as you can see, it blends in a little. So what I've tried to do is really try and pop out kind of the machines. So the machines are white here. We've got the andesite, or not the andesite, the diorite. And so we've got these forklifts. Now I've got some people that I'm going to start putting in here. But as you can see, it's kind of dark here too. I haven't figured out the lighting just yet. So what I'm thinking is we're actually going to use some frog lights. So the idea is that we'll make this kind of go down into the ground, pop a frog light. The reason I'm using the pearlescent ones is, for the most part, they're pretty non-colored. There's a little bit of purple, but when we do that, I think it's going to help the nighttime so we don't get mobs in here. And then on top of the forklifts, I put the end rods. Kind of looks like a little antenna, but it also acts as light. So I'm going to light this up, and then we can see what it's really looking like, because I think we're doing pretty well here. The contrast, I think we're finally getting there. So let me sleep, and then I'll kind of show you some of the details. So with a new day, we now can start popping these in. Now this is going to be very contrasty. I wish it was a little bit darker, but I think it's going to be okay, because that's what this whole world is a whole bunch of just trying to figure out how to make things grayscale. So what we've got here is the truck. As you can see, I'm going to put someone in there driving it. We've got some, I don't know, product being forklifted onto here. We've got the forklift in the back, or not the forklift, the actual crate. And then with the forklift, I've got the guy sitting. He's all ready. If you haven't seen this mod before, I can hold shift, click on here, and we can set all of his positions. So we're going to get him all set in there, put some kind of a head and some armor on there. And then what I didn't realize is that this farm behind it is right behind it. So we've used black concrete. So it looks like, and let me see if I can get the other side. It will look like it's open to the inside, but we can't really put anything in there because the farm's in the way. But I think that's okay. It looks like this forklift has at least come out of there, place something up on top, and we're really starting to kind of get that contrast. Now the other thing I've done is kind of put some bushes here. Now what I'm trying to contrast is that this side is very angular, so the trees are very well, I guess trees and bushes are very well kept. They're very angular. Where over there, it's a little bit more on the messy side. The trees have grown however they wanted to, but over here they're nice and clean and pretty crisp. So that's what I've kind of tried to do there, but still put like some grasses here. Now I wish these were a little wispier, so I might go see if I have some of the other kinds. I don't remember. Yeah, I might have some of those. I think these ones look a little too craggly, more like a bush. So I want to see if there's one like a grass. But as you can see, that's kind of the details we put here. The stripes in the line, I want to look like they were worn down. So instead of using like a white, we used the tuff there. And so now let's just add a few of the last details, and then we're going to call that an episode, because I want to get kind of this portion done and maybe something on this wall. It looks pretty plain right now. And the reason I'm looking at that is when you think about being over here in this farm area, if we're coming through, I think this is pretty kind of cool. It's kind of a cool sightline. As you start picking up the truck, seeing what's going on over there. But as you hit right here, it's just a blank mess. So it doesn't look very good. We got our walls, which is great. But I think we might just do some trees. Like, I know that's kind of a lame way of rounding out a corner, but I think if we do the right kind of trees, it's at least going to not look like we just forced something in there. Although now that I say it, trees don't seem like it's very industrial. Maybe I do want to play with something a little more industrial to sit here. Let me try and think of some ideas and see what we can come up with. So what did I decide to go with? I don't know, some kind of a power plant. I think it's going to work. I think having this kind of with some steam coming up, I think that's really going to kind of add to this industrial element. And as you can see, I think this area gets a little on the, I don't know, static side. Even though we've got a bunch of things going on in here, I want that little bit of smoke to help kind of give us some, I don't know, a little more atmosphere. Now, the one thing I've realized is I still need to decorate out kind of what these balconies would look like. Right now, it's a little boring. So I'll do similar to, let's fly over here, kind of what we did here on the front, where we're not going to add a ton of detail, but just like, I don't know, some air conditioning units, maybe some pipes will help that side a little bit more. But the thing I'm going to do next is look into my favorite two things here, and that is deciding who do we want to be driving these forklifts. Now, a lot of times when it's a little bit boring, I want to pick out some kind of unique fun heads. Like some of these cats are a little too, I don't know, their faces are too small. So maybe like a chicken and a pillager. And then we'll pick out some clothes for them. So maybe they're both wearing, I don't know, white shoes. Let's see. I don't know if I have the same color on the vest. Nope. And maybe we'll have to pick out some pants. Oh boy, looks like we're going to make some. So I'm going to make those, get them on our two forklift drivers. We've got one there, one there. Oh, I forgot about the guy in the truck. We'll do him too. And then I'll fill that out, and then we'll look at the details and call it a wrap. All right, and with this last little bit, I think if I look down, yeah, I think we got all the details right. Now, let's see if we can get the scaffolding taken away here and step back and see if this is looking good. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Now on the front, I had all the pipes on the outside. What I wanted to look at like here on the back is that they were a little more integrated into it. We got some of those air conditioning units, and I think this area is getting all wrapped up. Now we got our little guys in here. We got a, chicken in this one, an iron golem driving the truck, and then we've got a pillager out in the forklift in the back. So I think that's kind of it for this area. Now we'll add a little more detail as we figure out what's kind of along here. But for I think for this back area, I think we've gotten there. I think this is going to be looking pretty good. And as you can see, let's go up into free cam mode one more time. We put a lot of life back here. Now we have a lot better blend between the two areas. And I think that's really going to help kind of tell the story that like this grayscale just kept going through. This looks a lot more finished off. And this area is really kind of telling one big story. Now, next episode, we've got a whole bunch of opportunities over here. And I think I've got an idea for a storage room in the middle, some more farms along here, here, and here. So we've got a lot. There's a lot to do in this area, and I think that's going to be pretty good for what we're trying to do in this area. So y'all, that is going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and please let me know if you have ideas on how we can continue to make this area better. I think it's coming along great, and we're going to do a whole bunch more cyberpunk. So definitely let me know down in the comments what ideas you have. And until the next episode, we'll talk to you soon.